and welcome to another episode of Klosmi Commentary, episode 16. We've got Abdul back, and today we talked mostly about the Premier League. Do players or the manager take the stick for a bad result? Should players get sacked? Why do teams fail at home? What's going on in the relegation battle? All of that just to do with Southampton and Leicester. Then we talked about a few VAR incidents and a top 6 update while we're at it, except for Manchester City. And Pulisic getting a perfect hat-trick, the third-party scandal from West Ham, and finally rounding off with Abdul's denial of all the goals being scored in Serie A, as well as the contrasting traditions in Italy and England. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcoming back Abdul this week.
Hello.
Who's better?
I'm a lot
Abdul
better.
got better, cause Abdul got better.
Yeah, our chant worked, didn't it?
Abdul got better.
Oh, you guys had a chat.
Yeah, but get well, Abdul. Get well, Abdul.
I very much thank you for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy recovery, but it wasn't a speedy recovery, but
Seems to have done the trick.
Yeah, recovery
Well,
nevertheless, and
well,
it did do the trick. So
yes.
thank you guys. I haven't heard
The
it.
most important
But it
thing
worked.
is that you recover. That's the most important thing.
I'm here. That's good.
Alright, well, this week I think it's fair to say we'll jump into the Premier League, because the Premier League had a lot happen this week, very much,
Yeah.
and had a bit of a surprising one. It's given us a nice contender for both relegation and a genuine top 4 threat. Not a top 6 threat, top 4 threat in Leicester City.
Yeah, look, I don't think they're a threat, man. I think they're locked in.
Locked in.
I don't think they're a threat at all.
If anything, someone else might be a threat to them.
They'll finish third, but I think they'll definitely get third
So-
or fourth. But
So you're
Chelsea's up their ass, but that's how I talk.
So you're saying that Leicester's sort of locked in that top 4.
I think if they keep this form up,
Yeah.
This is 10 games into the season. Let's be.
No, I'm saying if they keep this form, they're better than Arsenal. At the moment.
Well,
them
if
ahead of
they
us.
keep this form, that is like, well, obviously they're going to finish in the top 4 if they keep this form. That's a
Don't
given.
laugh, Mike. They did when they won the league. They
That's
just kept
right.
going.
No, well,
This team keeps going.
I'm saying if they keep this form, if they keep this form, Liverpool will set a new record for most points in the season.
Yeah,
so.
but Liverpool won't keep that form.
Exactly,
That's
so-
but Leicester more, because they've proven it.
Leicester may keep this form. I mean, it's getting ahead of ourselves saying that they will do it, but 9-0, setting a new record.
Yep, 9-0.
For biggest away win in the top flight. Not just the Premier, because the Premier League, obviously, last
right.
20.
You wouldn't want to be a Saints fan, would you?
No, absolutely
No.
not.
No.
I mean, to be defeated at home.
Yes,
At home, yeah.
that makes it worse.
I mean, that is atrocious. It's awful. Disgraceful. What else can we say? I mean, it's one of the worst performances we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I have to step in defence of.
How can you defend? No, don't
No,
even
because
start.
he always defends the little guys.
How can you defend
this is my role.
9-0?
This is
Did
my
they
role.
get? My question is, did they get? So most of like me, I was sick last week. Did they get? Was the player sick? Did they replace them with bakers?
They could have been
Teachers?
sick after the game because
Policemen?
it was pouring that day. It was raining sideways. It was terrible weather, and I feel for the fans more than anyone because they rock up to this game.
So-
it is basically it's like monsoon weather.
But that makes things worse, doesn't it? I mean, I
Yeah,
would have
that's
thought.
what I mean.
I would have thought that in the wet, it's
it's
harder to score.
It is.
So that's even worse.
Oh, all right, but that's not my defence. The defence, defence comes in here. An awful way to start a game. They concede a goal in the 12th minute, right?
Look, it happens.
Look, they scored. They conceded. They scored in the 12th minute.
Sure, it wasn't the 12th second.
And no, sorry, the 10th minute they conceded the goal, but it wasn't over because VAR stepped in and went back and realised in the lead up to the goal there was a tackle that involved studs going into the ankles
Yes.
of eventual hat-trick man Perez, ex Newcastle.
I know. No, I know very well. He's
Love
ex.
his boy. Love Abdul's boy.
We had to get
Um,
rid of him.
Yeah, I had to throw
Didn't
that
do
in.
that much for Newcastle, but anyway.
But he was on the way up. But anyway,
But so he copped a stud, and I think it was a bit harsh. I don't think the red card was necessarily justified because
studs are up, mate.
yeah, but
Well-
like there wasn't. I don't think there was any either impact.
He didn't block. He didn't. What was it? He didn't pull out.
Oh no, he didn't follow through. He definitely didn't follow through.
Well, he didn't follow through. Neither
But
did he.
the studs made contact.
Yeah, the studs made contact,
Yeah.
but like it was almost like a
It wasn't
push
good.
more than anything.
It wasn't. It's.
It looks terrible.
Sorry, it's
it
a
looked
red
terrible.
card. It's a red card.
Well, that's the thing, right? This is a weird rule because what classifies as a red card in the word of the law. People say it's the word of the law, but it's not. It's absolutely not the word of the law.
Well, it's how you interpret it as well.
That's it, right? It's the way it's interpreted more so because the way it's written, it's just if it's dangerous, that's one. Like if it's
Subjective.
like yes,
Which the referee felt it was.
no. Well, what I'm saying is the general approach to these studs up things, right?
No, I'm saying
it's
studs up, but honestly, I
Yeah,
think
no. It was studs up, and it was high. That's what referees look at, right?
very high.
Well, then you can see why you go.
It was above the knees, I believe.
No, it wasn't above the knees.
It was the thigh.
It was
He got the
ankles. No, it was. I mean, we it really could benefit from a replay here, but we're not going to waste time on that, unfortunately. Unlike that name.
Well, the people can make.
That was worth
the replay.
Well, listen, the people could make their own decisions. Go on YouTube, go watch that. But having said that, you said
yes. So
it's not by word of the law. However, the referee felt in the way he interpreted.
Actually, he didn't because he went to VAR, which goes to the next point.
I see. Okay,
For the first time, I mean,
there's
the
VAR,
first
which is
time,
referees
the
again,
referee
people
overruled.
judging it.
The VAR referee overruled
The VAR, exactly.
the pitch referee.
but it didn't
right.
stop there. And so we will get to that in a moment because
Yeah.
we should finish up with this game. They copped the goal in the 10th minute. 12th minute they get a red card. So it's this double whammy. It's like copping a penalty with a red card. It's like all right, this you just killed us. And then they were just like I don't blame the players. All right.
What the one
I do. So, but go ahead.
Right, so the reason I don't blame the players, right, is because you could to me it felt like they were trying, but they
Sorry, 9-0.
No. I'll explain the 9-0. I'll explain the 9-0. It's very explainable. Because this is very important. I think they look the fact that you could run as hard as you like, right, but if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a goal, then you're not going to get anywhere, right? And these guys were all chasing the ball. Like everyone's like, I really want to stop this guy. I want to do everything, right? But then let's just pass, get around him, boom, open goal, boom.
That points to a lack of leadership then.
Yeah,
Because if you're getting you're copping a red card, you go a man down. Someone needs to take the lead and say, "This is what we're going to do, boys." No one obviously did it.
that was the guy who got sent off.
Was the captain?
He was no, he wasn't. I don't think, but I'm saying,
someone needed to step up then and direct the team. You can't have, as you said, people just following the ball.
potentially, but there's been a lot of problems at Southampton for a while now, and
Yeah.
I feel like, the manager's had them for a while now. Okay, he should have.
How long's the manager been there? A few seasons. He's had enough.
Not a few seasons, but he came there halfway through last season or something like that.
He's had enough time to.
He's had more than enough
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
You should be able to get a defensive plan in place. These guys had no idea. They could not keep the ball. They could not keep the ball out. They couldn't whenever the ball went to Southampton, they held on to it for maybe 2 passes. I remember that.
So they're going down.
They had this string of throw-ins, right?
At this stage,
They threw the ball in, right? And then it was just like it was like in rugby when they just kick the ball long and try and gain ground.
So
that was the game plan.
Yeah, so they were terrible. They're going down. They've still got 1 card left to play. That's the sack manager card.
Sack manager card.
Got the sack manager.
They still have that.
They've still got that up their sleeve. But as at this stage they're going down. Watford have already used that card. They're gone. They're gone. So yeah.
Well, and the other 2 contenders at the moment are Norwich and Newcastle. They're the highest.
First of all,
Norwich are in the relegation zone.
Norwich,
let's just say that.
Newcastle's on the bench, right? They're next in line.
we'll see about it.
Yeah.
We'll get to them
Those
in a
two,
minute.
yeah.
But
Norwich do have a long injury list though.
Yes, so
That's what they've got up there.
there's hope for Norwich.
they kind of started the season well, though.
Norwich.
Yeah.
What
With a couple of big teams,
They did beat City
wins,
though. They
you
did
know
beat
what I mean?
City. That's
all right. Well, this
probably
conversation
deserved
is now heading towards the relegation. So we'll just wrap this game up, right?
Yeah.
Leicester
terrible.
lost 9-0 it was the biggest loss.
I blame the players. I don't care what the loss is.
Okay, let's hear Abdul's quick thing.
There's a quick thing.
Blame-
As a
blame
player,
the players.
should have pride. You should have some sort of. I really think
leadership.
Look, leadership. Everything comes into it. I think you should have pride. I think at some
This
point
is footy put
you
into
should-
terms here.
you should-
Leadership, not enough effort.
No, I won't say not enough
it
effort.
is a legitimate
It's a-
thing.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying to.
But what are they going to do? You know
Well,
what I mean?
They can stop them scoring 9 goals.
Exactly.
Like-
You got to stop the
What-
bleeding.
I'm not
somewhere.
saying I'm not saying win the game, but I'm saying stop the bleeding.
Stop the bleeding.
So tell me how this leader.
It's not just one. It's like
All right,
players just stepping up.
we need 2, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3.
All
Yeah.
right, 2, maybe.
In each
So what do
line.
these 2-3 leaders do? They organise the team.
Look, we're not saying.
Well, it's about organisation. Like as you said,
But then the manager
look,
does the organisation.
Yeah, but you can't have the manager can't just yell at everyone from the pitch side, right? He can, but
Yeah, but at half
you know.
time it didn't change.
well, there you go. So what's going on?
Yeah, well the manager's got to take a lot of.
It's very
Yeah, well,
easy.
he does,
Yes,
yeah.
he does.
A lot of
But also
responsibility.
at the same time, I'm sorry, but at the same time, if the manager tells you something, it's now up to the players. I'm sorry, they didn't go into the halfway time.
But that's what I'm saying.
Hold on, they didn't get to the.
you
They
know,
didn't
Mike's,
get to the locker.
Mike's got a point though. If the manager's telling them the wrong instructions, and then they're trying
we
to
don't know
execute
that.
it-
See,
we
just
don't know
that's
that.
it. We don't know that.
But
So I'm saying-
what I'm saying,
respect
okay, because I'll let you keep going because,
Well,
but
clearly,
I'll just
yeah.
point this out because the first half 5-0, right? So after the red card,
Sorry,
4 goals.
yeah.
Second half, 4 goals again, right? If the manager did something, the second half would not be 4 more goals. Like
No,
it
that's
was
fair.
just as bad as the
Okay,
first half.
okay,
So
okay,
that's,
so-
that's what I'm saying. The manager.
No, my point to you then is no.
Players too gotta take
I'm
responsibility.
sorry because
Players gotta take
I'm sorry, but
responsibility
many times it's so easy to go. You know what? This is the manager. If it's a manager issue, Manchester United, okay, would have done something.
Where did Manchester United?
What
come
I'm
from?
saying is, it's easily blamed on the manager. Manager this, manager that, manager.
Well,
this.
they're usually a scapegoat. Usually.
They're scared.
Yeah, I
So
agree
what I'm
with that,
saying
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
right? It comes down to the players. I'm sorry, it does. It comes down to the players because if it's a good player, not good players, but if it's a decent, these guys are Premier League players. Okay,
Yeah.
they're not chumps. They're not dudes outside the street. You know,
I think
playing
9-0
soccer.
begs to differ, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they got substituted. I think
That's
they were
one
all
bet.
sick. Policemen, policemen, teachers, whoever they could get was playing that day. It doesn't matter.
the Carpenters.
Third league players were playing. I think at some point, I'm sorry, I've seen this too many times. Managers keep getting fired or whatever the case may be. Players don't seem to get the blame. Okay, but it's now for me. Southampton had no pride in that game. Sorry, say it.
Well, that's it.
No pride.
Well, I can't disagree more, but I do agree that the players.
I am saying though, the manager.
I think we're missing a very big point here. This wasn't 4-0, 5-0. This is 9-0.
So everyone's to blame. Let's
Everyone's
just
to
say
blame
that.
here.
Yeah.
It all came together, made this big cocktail of terribleness, and Southampton lost.
Look, we do make we are giving a lot of stick to Southampton, and probably rightly so. But I would like to point out, Leicester still scored 9, and
Yes.
they were brilliant. So we'll give some credit
They
there.
pushed all the way through.
I give credit.
They
They
had
should have
hunger.
scored.
They had hunger. Like Vardy wanted the hat trick. Perez wanted his hat trick. They both got their hat
They
trick.
should have scored 9 goals.
Well, they scored 3 each. But
Yeah, I'm just
if
saying,
they scored 9
they-
goals.
I
That
said
would
they,
be,
Leicester-
that would be quite
I
a
meant
massacre.
Leicester shouldn't have scored 9 goals. Let's just all be honest.
Well, no team should score 9 in a game.
Exactly right. So we talked this off screen, off
Yeah.
the air. No team should score. If it's a good game, if it's a good team,
That's
you
true.
should
No,
not.
no team should score in indoor, let alone.
Yes, but I'm saying generally
Well,
speaking, outdoor, no more than 3 or 4 goals. But 9 goals.
You
is
know, I was
what it
going to
is.
go on a tangent with that, but I'll save that for another time.
Yes, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah,
So what's the next?
once I think most teams agree that once they get to 6, that's enough. So to concede 9 is
Are you proposing a mercy rule, Mike?
no. I'm saying that there's this
'Cause
like
if you're proposing
untold.
if you're proposing a mercy rule, I'll walk out of here right now.
No, but haven't
we
you
will stop this podcast.
haven't you noticed that when teams get to 6 goals, usually they stop?
Yeah, they relax.
They-
Well, I don't know about 6. Usually, as an Italian fan, 2's enough. Generally,
But like,
but yeah.
if a team is like so once it goes past 6, it's like there's something seriously wrong here with
Yeah,
any
absolutely,
team.
That's
yeah.
right.
Right? Like it's because 6 goals, it can still be a team that's terrible,
Correct.
and the other team is just that much better than them.
Correct.
Right? But once it goes past 6, it's like, all right, there's more to the problem here.
Yeah.
And like you say, cause there was torrential rain there. Like that should make it harder to score goals.
Absolutely.
But they
Just to pass the ball, anything.
There was a fantastic free kick in that though. There was a penalty. Like you're not going to stop those.
Okay,
and everything else is just too easy.
Way too easy.
So it probably should have been 5, maybe, or 6.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. 5 goals.
Leicester were good.
Yes,
they were good.
They were good.
They were, and they deserve to be in the top 3.
It was a very bad game playing against a really good team.
Yeah,
playing a good game. That's what it was.
That was hungry.
It was that combination that caused the result,
and that wanted to set a marker, and that's the key here. So Leicester's really shown the way, really, and now we can get back onto the relegation conversation.
Yes, it's back there. Yep.
Southampton is the new candidate. They fall straight in. Watford and Southampton, huge favourites now, for sure.
Well, Southampton still have as I said, the sack manager card. So
yeah. Well, Watford's had 2 draws recently, last 2 games. They've stemmed the blood flow. They haven't scored in any of those games, so that's a bit worrying. They've still only scored 5 goals for the entire season. Newcastle 6. So
I'm glad you're trying to talk Watford up with those stats.
No, I'm not talking about
your tone is just like really? Okay.
5 goals for the season.
They've only scored 5 goals. Oh no, that's
and conceded.
Okay.
It's not that great. Yeah, no, it's not good. 10 games in,
I think like 20 goals or something like that.
Yeah, they're gone.
It's not good.
They already sacked the manager.
Yeah, they've played that card. Fulham played that card early, then they played the card again somehow. They must have picked a chance card and got the sack manager card again.
Well, they got a double.
Yeah, they got a double.
Maybe they,
It didn't
you know what I reckon? I reckon you should be able to, and it's never going to happen, but I think you should be able to sack players, honest to God.
Sack players?
During the season.
I think,
you can terminate their contract, but you can pay them out.
Well, they do that with managers.
Well,
anyway.
so your managers get paid out. What I'm trying to say is, you got to put fear in these guys. I mean, there is no... Listen...
You bench him, that's the fear.
That is.
You can't bench 5 players.
No one talks about
10
that.
players.
No one talks about sacking players.
I'm telling you got to sack players.
Talk about dropping players. Benching players.
Maybe there is a way of sacking them. No, I mean sack them. Don't even let them play.
Not even walk in the doors of the
Don't
club.
even walk in the doors, mate. We no longer require your services.
Them so they're not allowed to play.
You will no longer invited to any Fulham events, any Fulham games. You're not allowed in the stadium. You're going to be walked out. Just like any other job.
Do you know why they
you
don't
get
do
walked
that?
off the premises, mate.
Because when they do that, they go off to Spain and go on holiday. They don't care, man.
Oh, you think they don't
They
care?
get paid out.
Yeah, still, they care.
You seen Carlos Tevez? What happened when he got...
Look at Carlos Tevez in his prime. You walk him out, there's going to be fisticuffs. I'm just saying.
He was on the beach, man. He was living it up at Man City when they didn't let him play. They said, "Look, we're not going to play you anymore. Go find another club." He's like, "Oh, I'm good. I'll."
That's him. He's getting paid a lot of money. What I'm trying to say is,
these guys aren't.
But that's not a sacking, though. That's just
they're
not going to play anymore.
But that's the thing.
Like,
but
get the hell out of here.
But the thing is, if you sack him, you pay him out.
Yeah, but the managers still get paid out too. Am I wrong or right on that?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, either way, you pay.
But they don't get paid as much.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, put right in the contract. If you get sacked, you're going to get this percentage of the money, mate.
Ooh, can't do that.
No, agents wouldn't let their...
What I'm saying is, if this was a precedent...
You can't do that.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Well, either way... You just said managers don't get paid as much.
No, they just don't get paid as much. You know what I mean?
As players in general.
Like players have bigger wages than managers.
Fine, I don't care. My point is, if there was a way to sack players, it would have changed the game.
It's an interesting thought that you brought it up. Has there been players that you've thought about sacking? Like just watching them for Newcastle or whatever? Just throwing them out?
Balotelli should have been sacked a long time ago. We've already seen him play. We'll get to the Serie A. God damn it. He should have been sacked so long ago. He should have been walked out of Man City's premises right after Game 2. I'm telling you.
Man City.
Yes.
What about the 2 goals he scored against Manchester United? In the 6-1.
Anyone could score...
And that assist for that very, very important goal from Aguero. And also against Manchester United. No, sorry. It wasn't against Manchester United. But it might as well have been.
But yeah, look.
It's like a dagger through their heart.
Maybe Liverpool could have sacked him, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Newcastle...
Look, okay.
It's a relegation zone, though. Speaking of that, though, Newcastle... For me, I'm just hoping. Yeah, you're right. We're surviving. Honestly,
Yeah,
this is a survival mode.
Well, currently
Season,
you're only next on the list, so you're not in the relegation zone yet.
But that's my point. It's a survival. What happens next week? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's survival. I'll take any result that is that equates to points.
Let's see what happens next.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I want.
Yeah, or a Southampton 9-0 that just destroys their goal difference.
That's right. Exactly. What's the point?
I don't think Newcastle will not. They did lose 5-0 to Leicester.
Yes.
With a red card as well. So Leicester seems to be a team that you don't want to
Get
consider
a red card against. Yes.
No, that's bad news if that happens.
But who do you guys think? Because it's 3 teams that will get relegated.
Yeah.
So who do you think right now?
Well,
those 3 teams.
We've named the 2.
So,
I'm already quite certain on Watford going down.
Yeah, because Cos was
Because
saying
they played the card. Yeah.
They've played the card already, and I just don't see a way back for them. And the results aren't improving.
because you know how you
That's the
said oh, absolutely, and you know how you said for Leicester is a lock for sort of like
Well, I'm saying top 4.
yeah top 4.
Yeah.
So I'm saying which is a lock
Oh,
for a
lock.
relegation zone.
Well, those 2.
Well, I wouldn't even say that Southampton's a lock yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about lock. Like
Because-
this is guaranteed.
Well, Watford for me. At the
Yeah,
moment.
Watford.
As for my thing, yeah.
Okay, here's my logic. I mean, generally speaking, a team loses by more than 6 goals, or even 6 goals, they're going down. Like that just happens. Like it's
Not really.
It
You
could come
can,
back.
you can have a bad day. You can just be one of those days.
no, but I mean that's just what happened. Like it's like it's the first symptom of cancer.
Oh, of course.
Like that is
Of course.
That
But
No,
is-
absolutely. We'll see with Southampton. We'll
like it is an early sign, but
we'll
like,
check on them.
We'll check on
like
it.
I said before.
follow up.
You follow up, of course. Yeah.
Like, look, you lose 4-0, it's like okay, you've had a bad day. You lose 6-0, it's like all right, you are defense is not your game. You lose 7, 8, 9-0, there is just fundamental issues
what about- but
which are
then-
not going to get fixed
Okay,
over the
but
next
what about
10
teams
games.
like
Yeah, but
Watford who hasn't had those kind of results? But I think they're more of a lock than Southampton, in my opinion.
Are
as
you
well.
talking about
Well, that's
Norwich?
the thing. And
Well-
I tend to agree. No, because
No, I'm talking about
because
relegation, though.
Southampton have had better results in other games.
Exactly.
So
Where
for me,
Watford
it's
has
like
not really.
when you're like 5-0, 6-0 down, especially against a good Leicester side, and you got a red card. It's easy to just hang your heads,
So
and then just keep conceding.
can we run
conceding.
through these good results that
Yeah.
you were talking about?
I'm not saying they're good results. I'm just saying they've had better performances
All right, here we go.
than general.
Starting the season,
Correct.
3-0 against Burnley away from home.
Well, I
It's
think
like first game,
Right.
they can be terrible. West Ham lost 5-0 and they're doing all right.
there you go.
They lost to Southampton
Exactly.
at home. Sorry, Liverpool at home.
That's fine.
Well, that's
2-1,
2-1.
which is
They
which
should-
Which is a good.
which at the time seemed like
They could
it
have
was going to
drawn
be a
that.
tough
They
game.
could have
Yeah.
drawn that game.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Brighton. They beat Brighton 2-0 away from home.
Yeah,
Okay,
see?
that's
And
good.
that was at that point. It's like
It's a good result. It's a good result.
and then they drew to Manchester United at home.
Good result.
Good result.
All right, they beat Sheffield away from home 1-0.
Very good result. The way Sheffield are playing.
Then
Great result.
they got beaten quite thoroughly by Bournemouth 3-1 at home.
Okay.
That's a derby.
They haven't been good at home. That's a
They
problem.
have definitely been bad at home.
Southampton, they haven't been good at home.
Tottenham beat
Just
them 2-1 on the
Not
road.
bad, not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
Chelsea demolished them 4-1 at home.
Okay.
Well, Chelsea, they've been bad at home.
Yeah, clearly
yeah.
it's a
They
trend.
drew,
That's
they
a
drew
problem.
against
It's a trend.
They drew against Wolves on the road, and
Yeah.
they got demolished by
9-0.
Manchester.
Leicester
Leicester.
9-0.
But what's going at home? So what's going with,
the
with
big-
Southampton and the home court? I thought it was home pitch advantage, home stadium.
Well, Cos and I have noticed that there are teams that occasionally have a bad home season. Burnley had it a while back. They don't. If you don't like your home, Burnley's a team for you.
Burnley had the good home season.
No. That was the bad home season.
Burnley was the good magic.
No. Burnley was the one that was beating teams on the road. They beat Manchester City on the road. I think they beat Liverpool on the road. This is the season that we did our famous which EPL team to follow.
Yes.
And
Mike,
we compared them to.
I guarantee.
Sorry,
you,
because we compared them with.
Mike, I guarantee you, Burnley was magic at home.
You're right. It was
Yes.
West Ham.
Yeah, that's the. Yep.
The colours.
It's the
killing
colours
me.
that.
But the
Yeah.
season before that, Burnley was bad at home.
Okay, I
remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
But I will say though, I mean, something about it. I thought because I think my question then is it the fact that when you play away from home, you got nothing to lose. In terms of, well, not nothing to lose, sorry, but more of a, hey, we're away. You know what I'm saying? The expectation is
definitely
the other team has the advantage. So let's
Yes.
just go hard, boys.
Well, there's a number of factors. I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
The pressure's off.
Yeah.
That's a great thing for some teams.
Yeah.
The other thing is the fans have too high expectations.
Yes.
Newcastle, that happens a lot.
A lot.
At the moment, they're okay at home. But like Manchester United, remember the season after Ferguson left?
Yeah.
They were a walkover at home. Home Manchester United would lose to away Manchester United.
Wow.
That's how bad they were at home. You know, which is very uncharacteristic at the time, and since then they've become much better at home. So there's those two. There's the freedom away from home,
That's right.
and then
Yeah.
the pressure of the fans at home.
Yeah. So overall, though, it's just the pressure's off.
Yeah,
From
I just
all
think
sides.
with them, I don't think Southampton fans would have high expectations. I think it's more of a case that they're just more free at home. They're just playing in a more free sort of mindset,
That's right.
and they're getting caught out because
Oh, I
they're,
see
they're
what
not
you-
that good.
well, there's also a third factor, in that teams when they're playing. So Southampton, let's just say that their attack isn't, like they can't pull teams apart. They're no Man City, right? But they can set up defensively. Obviously, they didn't in this game.
No, not in this game.
And when they're at home, right, they also feel like they need to win the game, right? And throughout that game, they like even with the 10 men, they were sort of like, trying to push. There were moments in the game where you thought, all right, they're getting a foothold here, right? They had like one, maybe two, like decent chances to score goals, and then it was just like this, like whatever. It's like when you're climbing a mountain and your foot just slips and you just keep going. Like the harness is off. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and you just end up at the bottom with 9-0 defeat next to you.
That's it. No.
And they had no way to get a foothold, and that's really the big issue, and that's what I mean. That's relegation written all over it. So I've got Southampton at this stage, unless they get some genius manager come in to change things around, relegation with Watford, and I can't pick a third team yet because it's too tight.
Another Abdul
But the two favourites.
bold prediction: Southampton will not get relegated this season.
Oh, you're going for it again?
Oh, he's going
Yeah.
for the bold prediction.
So
Okay, that's my third bold prediction.
Why do you think Newcastle's going down?
You know what? I feel Newcastle can get relegated.
Oh wow!
Oh, they can
jeez.
get relegated.
That's how much confidence I have in that team.
Oh well.
How about Norwich? What are we thinking about them?
Yeah, Norwich is pretty. Yeah, they're on the.
Well, Norwich have been uncharacteristic.
So what are their result like this week?
Well, in the last couple of games, they've sort of shored up their defence. They lost to Manchester United, so Manchester United finally got their third win.
And away from home, it's
Away from home.
more importantly, yeah.
Yes, that's their first win away from home this season.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that was their
Their
first
first one.
points away from home.
Are we talking about Manchester
No,
United?
No, I think they had
It's
a
their
draw
first
too.
win away from home.
Yes, definitely
Let's
their
go
first
for
win.
that.
Are we talking about Manchester United here?
We
Yeah,
are
Manchester
talking-
United.
Wow. First what? The first one.
They haven't
And-
won away from
okay,
home since
so
like,
let me just think.
remember that game against PSG in the Champions League last
Yes.
season?
Yes, I do.
That was their last away win.
In
I'm
any
serious.
competition,
In any competition, I'm serious.
that's been a while. Lukaku.
that-
I didn't know it was that bad.
That's the sort of time United fans are having.
To be fair, Tottenham are on a similar run, so it's not just them.
I didn't think things were that bad, but anyway.
But that they haven't lost all those games. They just haven't won any of them. Whereas Tottenham have, I think, since a similar period, lost just about all their away games. Like it's incredible the run that they've had. Yeah, of course, Tottenham lost this week to Liverpool. But just a little more on the Manchester United Norwich game. They won 3-1 with 2 penalty misses. So. But that goes on to what me and Cos was saying last week.
Who had the penalty misses? United or
United
okay.
missed both two penalties. Martial and Rashford, 2 different penalty takers. no, I think they've missed 4 or 5 penalties this season. Manchester United.
Yeah, that's woeful.
But
I got to say.
But what me and Cos were talking about last week is that Manchester United were not as bad a side as everyone's making them out to be. Okay. And last week they proved it.
Well, people are obsessed with goals, aren't they? If you're not scoring goals, you must be bad. Well,
But they,
It's two parts of the game. But anyway,
That's right. That's
yeah, well,
right,
they're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
They
at the
are.
moment. So, which may surprise you.
No, that is positive though.
Yeah.
At least there's something's working.
Oh yeah, it's just their attack. I mean, mainly it's because they lost Martial and Pogba, which are a huge part of their attack,
Absolutely.
and they don't have anyone to fill their
When's
spot
Pogba coming back?
when he stops being injured. And I don't know when that's going to be.
Fair.
It's hard to
that's fair.
it's hard to put a date on that one.
I think he's faking it, but anyway, no.
I don't want to play with these guys. I don't want to play.
I don't
No,
know.
but yeah,
No.
Martial came back. They
Yes, he
looked good
did
up front.
recently. Yeah.
They look good up front. He came on, he scored. He also missed the penalty. Rashford came on, scored. Well, he was just on, scored. Also missed the penalty. And McTominay with another goal. Another good goal from
he's
midfield.
chipping in, McTominay. Yeah.
Good. There was no chip that goal. That was a good
Well,
hit.
he's chipping with a goal.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
know.
think- Yeah.
Just saying that the
Yeah.
goal was just yeah. But yeah, and Norwich just cannot get a foothold either. So at this stage, I've got them as favourites to be the third team to go down.
Really, Norwich. Okay.
Oh, at this stage,
I'm not.
I know
I'm
they're
not putting
strong.
them in
You
yet.
know,
I'm not picking them.
but the reason is I'm saying that they don't have a foothold. You know, this negative momentum carries through. You know, and they can't keep goals out without stopping their own goal flow. So they can't get that balance right. And I think in the last game they had a 0-0 draw with Bournemouth. Neither of those teams had clean sheets all season. They both just cancelled each other out. This week Bournemouth cancelled out with Watford, 0-0 draw. So that the Bournemouth just sort of decided, all right, let's. I think they should have won that game. Apparently Watford were woeful, but
They're going down. It's just-
yeah, Watford's go down. Watford's go down. They got nothing going from either end.
I think Watford's the only team that's, for me anyway, is a clear lock.
I don't think anyone's ever a clear lock.
Well, Watford, I think.
But Watford are certainly in
Mark
the best position.
Mark
They're
my
leading the race.
words.
They're leading.
Watford.
The team is getting sacked from the Premier League.
I think they should all get sacked. Get a new bunch in.
With the magic. All right. Another team that is dangerously close to relegation, Everton. Not expected.
Yeah,
Are we expecting them?
They are. Look, no. I look. We can't.
I had
we
to say
can't.
it.
I know you had to say it, but I can't put Everton. But as far as the season's going so far, they are the disappointment of the season, definitely.
Did anybody keep track of this game this week? Brighton versus Everton. What happened? And the comings and goes of this game.
I have absolutely no idea.
This was actually for the neutral would be an amazing game to watch because so Brighton scored first. They're at home. They done did good. Everton then came back with a goal of their own. I think they scored again, or maybe they hadn't scored yet because then Brighton conceded. Sorry, Brighton scored a goal, but it was ruled off. I think it was an offside. VAR did something. So it looked like they'd taken the lead again, but they didn't. Then Everton did take the lead like a few minutes later. So it's this sort of momentum shift, right? Everton's suddenly on top. Then Brighton gets this very, very dubious penalty, right? And this is the first instance where VAR overturned the referee's decision. So we're not talking about that the studs up slide tackle from before, right? Because that one was a red card. That's
so they're starting.
Different story. This was the penalty. The first time a penalty was given against the referee's wishes, essentially, right? Because Abdul, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the way VAR works in England, for whatever reason, the referee doesn't get a look. Other people just make the decision. It's to help the game flow, apparently. So, as far as I understand, the referees had a discussion during the international break. And they said, we're not giving any decisions, we're not overturning anything, even if it's blatant and obvious, right? So now they've gone the other way. And now they're giving all these decisions.
It's just to put a TV pitch on a TV screen on the pitch.
Yeah, the referee should really think.
It's really not that hard.
Everybody in the stadium is looking at their phones and seeing the replay, except for the one guy who should be looking at it, which is the referee.
That's crazy.
But
Hey, did they not have it in those jumbo TVs?
In their wisdom that's a great point you've made up, because in their wisdom of keeping the game flowing, they're going to start a riot in the stadium. You're not going to get two sets of fans agreeing.
No, that's right.
You can get the away section going. That's on a. You look at it. Yeah, it might be. I don't care. It's on it. You know.
That's right.
Now, to be fair,
What is that?
it probably should have been a penalty. but it never would have been seen if not for VAR, right? The defenders both went... Sorry, not the defenders. The defender and the striker, they both went for a header.
It was one of those.
And the defender
landed
on the heel of the striker. Like not much, but it was sort of grazed the heel of him. And he basically rooted him to the ground, so he couldn't jump, right? And after that happened, he went down, right? And it looked ridiculous in live. Like, it just looked like, what is he doing? Why did he go to... There's no way that could possibly have been a foul. Then you see the replay, and then you see the guy, they both jump for the ball, the guy lands, and it's just like wow, that's actually, he's impeded the guy. He's stopped him from jumping for the ball, and it's a penalty, but it's just clumsy from the defender. And it just killed the momentum. Obviously, they got a penalty, they scored the goal, and then that was like the 80th minute or something. Was it the 80th minute?
Who knows?
It doesn't matter. It was late in the game, right? Everton were cruising at that point. The
80th minute.
Yeah, they didn't look like they were going to concede. That happened. Scores a penalty, and then it's in the 93rd minute own goal.
Oh!
Not only was it an own goal, but it was an own goal by arguably the best player on the pitch. The left back,
Lucas
Digne.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
gut wrenching.
he's the cross has sort of come across. It's the triple cross thing on FIFA.
That's right.
It's a flat cross across the goal. The defender comes in, tries to slide, and then knocks into his own goal.
Yeah. It's a good
straight
finish.
through the middle, I think.
Good finish.
Yeah, it was a fantastic finish. The striker would be proud, but and they lose the game like that. And
oh my god!
And it was just a very that was very long and drawn out, but it was very momentum shifting game. And Everton easily could have won that. It would have been a completely different story after beating West Ham last week.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're not putting them in the relegation zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
you get unfortunate sometimes.
You're just waiting for them to click, basically.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It'll happen.
They're making clumsy mistakes and stuff like that, but they're still solid at home. They're tough to beat there.
Absolutely. But look at Arsenal 2-2 though.
There's another one.
Oh, they should have just won. They should have won that game.
Well, they were up 2-0.
Yeah. See, that's
Early.
the most again. Yeah.
Yep.
Crystal Palace came back.
It's just the same old problems.
And VAR came in again.
Oh, again.
So, Wilfried Zaha.
Why don't we just make a football club, VAR?
Yeah,
add them in the
Are you
league.
giving me ideas? I might start that football club in Pez. VAR. I love that. Yeah.
So, I think it was 2-1
it's like
at
the
this
Joker,
stage.
Something Batman.
Oh, this is brilliant, because this actually shows when the goals that were disallowed.
Not in all of them, but yeah.
But that's fantastic. I love it. So
it's a good app.
So it was
get that one.
So Arsenal scored 2 early goals. Right?
What's the app called? Because Michael right now is looking at an app.
I've got it.
Yeah, what's
I just add football. One football.
One football. Yeah.
One football. It's green. You got to get onto it. It has just everything.
It's got everything.
Arsenal scored 2 set piece goals early on, 7th minute, 9th minute. Then in 32nd minute, Zaha goes into the book for diving.
Ooh.
VAR has a look. VAR disagrees. VAR says it's a penalty. So we've gone from... So the yellow card was rescinded as well. Crystal Palace get a penalty and they get a foothold. 2-1, 32nd minute. So half time, the score is 2-1. And then, of course, set piece goal for Crystal Palace to make it 2-2. 84th minute, Socrates, the defender, another set piece goal for Arsenal. It's a corner, it goes in, there's a bit of a scramble.
Yeah.
It lands at Socrates' feet, bam, smacks it in. Full celebration, goes out,
wild.
does the full slide, everything, it's pouring rain. VAR comes in again. And VAR says, no goal. There was a foul in the lead-up.
You have got to be kidding.
And this time,
was it a foul?
Completely disagree. It was a 50-50. Where not only this is
the thing is the ref is not looking at any of these.
You haven't seen the cutest part yet. So it's this scramble, right? It's like a 50-50 at best, but really the defender knocks over the other defender. Sorry. He knocks the Arsenal player into the other defender, which knocks the defender onto the ground. That's where the foul comes in.
That's a foul, yeah. That's a
so
100%.
So the defender has pushed this Arsenal player into essentially fouling his own teammate. And they overturn the goal. They've disallowed it, and it stayed to. But to their credit, they didn't then go concede an own goal at the other end. So they didn't lose the game.
Yeah, well, I understand, but that's a bad result for Arsenal.
It is definitely a bad result for Arsenal. But once again, VAR having plenty to say, giving Crystal Palace firstly the penalty.
Well, I don't like this thing of the ref not seeing what the VAR.
I agree.
I
agree. It is an issue because you're talking about. You guys are saying every other league has.
Well, the ones that have VAR.
The ones that have
VAR.
The referee goes towards where the bench is, and there's a TV screen there.
Correct.
And he can see what the incident is, and then he makes the decision.
Like what they did for the World Cup and that sort of thing.
Exactly. So the guys will say, "Hey, ref, come and look. You might want to overturn this." The ref looked, and then he makes the decision.
Oh, the ref makes the decision.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's the key. Whereas in the Premier League, it's these guys at Heathrow Airport, that's where they're looking at it, looking at this screen, going, "Oh, okay," and then they make the decision. They say, "Ref, it's actually a penalty." He has no input. He doesn't see it.
Which is why early in the season,
what's the point then?
They didn't want to overturn anything because it's like, well, he's not having a look. We don't want to make him look bad, that kind of thing.
At Heathrow Airport,
and then everyone's saying this is ridiculous. What's the point of VAR if you're not going to use it?
Correct.
And now they're like, all right, let's start using it. And they use this stuff,
botching it big time.
You should probably actually see that one. That's probably worth
there is one other game I would like to just mention briefly. West Ham and Sheffield.
Yep.
It finished 1-1, but I want to point out how good Sheffield are going.
No, I really
because
I'm impressed.
This is a promoted side,
correct,
and they've only conceded 8 goals in 10 games.
That's
for a promoted side.
They have a better defence than United.
That is incredible. what they're doing. I know they've only scored 9, but they're a promoted side. What they're doing is incredible. Having conceded 8 goals
with the players that they have. Like you said, just promoted. That is to concede 8 goals in 10 games is incredible. Do you remember any other team that
I've
in recent memory?
No, I don't. Not at all.
From promoted side.
Promoted teams, no, not at all.
Because they teeter on.
It takes one game to concede 4. They conceded 8 in 10. Wow. That's incredible.
That is very incredible. And look,
they're sitting 8th on the ladder. They deserve it.
And that's
absolutely.
I wouldn't say the blueprint, but certainly that's going hard. That's effort. That's hard work.
And while you guys talk about that,
discipline.
That's discipline, mate. That's leadership.
Yeah.
So
that's what Southampton.
Well, they got a lot more momentum. They got the same colours too. So
well, there you go. So but we're at the moment looking at
you guys looking at the Arsenal.
Arsenal game. Oh my God. Okay. Yep. That's the sort of 2-2, 3-2 there. Yeah.
Where was he? He didn't do anything. He just shot it.
That's amazing.
You let that go. Oh my God. You can't even touch anyone anymore.
But
you may as well play basketball and call the foul.
But you saw
not to diss basketball, but like that.
No.
It's not basketball.
Here we go. You stepped on his foot.
Oh no, no.
I mean, with VAR, right? They should be able to see the slow motion replay. They should be able to see in many angles.
They do.
Why is
use some common sense?
Yeah.
You don't need to follow the letter. It's common sense.
And the letter of the law technically means anytime you touch a player, it's a foul. So the letter of the law never gets followed.
Exactly. Look, Arsenal again. I'm sorry. Let's not even put the VAR in here. Arsenal haven't conceded those 2 goals.
Hey, Crystal Palace is a good team.
Sorry, Crystal Palace.
They are a good team. Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace is a good
still
team.
A good team.
No, yeah.
Underestimated team.
Sorry, but when you're up 2-0. But anyway.
Yeah, well, when you're up 2-0. Chelsea did the same against Sheffield. Chelsea made no mistake this week, though.
No, they did not.
Pulisic, I think he made his full debut.
He did. He started and he got a hat-trick.
He's got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
And this is the first time, I don't know, it was some sort of stat, but 2 players for Chelsea, under 21, that have gotten hat-tricks this season.
Because they have no choice.
But they're doing it very well.
Absolutely. Lampard's doing a good job.
Did Tammy Abraham get a hat-trick?
Not in this game, but he has. He has.
Okay, so he's probably the other one.
Yeah, Tammy is the other one. That is correct. They won 4-2. The 2 goals for Burnley were pretty much action replays of each other. Although one of them, I think, the keeper was basically just completely out of position.
Well, 2 consolation goals. Yeah.
2 consolation goals. It was 4-0 at the time, and Chelsea just proving they have no control over the game at any point in time.
Well, that's what young teams do. They just Mr. Inconsistent, but they're getting results. They're looking good.
They have been getting results. That's 7 straight wins in all competitions for Chelsea.
So
4 in the Premier
very
League.
impressive as well.
They haven't not won since they lost to Liverpool.
So Lampard, manager of the year? No.
Oh, well, he's
maybe.
got to be in contention
Yeah.
at the moment.
But they are still yet to get a point.
Correct. It's early.
Against the top 6.
It's early day. Okay.
They lost
early
to both
days, okay.
Liverpool and Manchester United, the only 2 top 6 teams they've played.
Liverpool, I don't blame.
Well, that was the opening day against Man United.
Yeah.
So
And
Exactly.
they got a point
Liverpool,
against Leicester.
I don't blame them. But Manchester United, I think they will get them again. I reckon if they will.
they were,
It was the first game of the
and it
season.
wasn't
Yeah.
a 4-0. The way they gave us
No, it
played,
wasn't.
they
It wasn't. It
deserved to be
really,
4-0.
if anything, Chelsea was all over them, but they just conceded 4 goals. But they also drew against Leicester, which at the time was like we had no idea what that meant, but now they're both sort of pushing up. But I think Leicester looks more impressive than Chelsea. The goal difference aside, I think they've played against tougher teams than Chelsea,
Absolutely.
and they got the same points and a better goal difference.
Much better goal difference, yeah.
Thanks to that 9-0
Alright.
shellacking. But yes, Chelsea. Yes, the hat trick. It was no ordinary hat trick. It was a perfect hat trick.
What's a perfect hat trick?
First goal with the left,
Yeah.
second with the right, third with the head. So you score it with left foot, right foot,
Oh,
head
that's
up.
the perfect hat
That's the
trick.
perfect
Yeah,
hat trick,
yeah.
and I haven't seen that in a long time. Perfect hat trick, because usually it's just some guy with just a left foot or a right foot, and every goal is with the same foot, and then it's this thing. But this was
So he's got it all, this guy.
a bit fortuitous with a couple there. I think got a bit of a deflection,
Oh, who cares?
But,
he got the
but he got the hat trick. He took the game by the.
scruff of the neck.
Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that too. I was going to say something else, but yours was probably more PG.
No, it was-
But yeah, it was a great great win for Chelsea. Continue that momentum. They've got who they got next week? I think they're going to start running into some tougher fixtures. They've got Manchester United in the League Cup.
the League Cup,
tomorrow.
yeah, and then Watford away.
That's a very tough one
Yeah,
because they'll be hungry.
Did you say Watford or what? Come on.
Watford won't be. Watford, they can't.
I'm trolling.
Okay, good, you trying.
Come on. That shouldn't even be trolled. That's just Watford has been.
One thing, because that West Ham Sheffield game, something to mention. This is the first time they have met since a scandal.
What scandal?
So I don't know if you guys remember, but remember that season that Tevez was playing for West Ham?
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time. It was 12 years. Sheffield was in the Premier League at the time. Sheffield got relegated that season on goal difference to West Ham, who fielded Mascherano and Tevez, ineligible players because they had third-party rights. So some third party had the rights to those players, which is not allowed in the Premier League. This went to court, and then Sheffield won, but it didn't matter because they still got relegated, right? So West Ham got through, and Tevez, I think, scored a couple goals in the last game of the season to beat Manchester United to keep West Ham up
in the league.
So it's basically Tevez carried this team on their back.
There was a bit
they were carried on the back of an illegal player.
So there was a bit of spice in this game, was there?
Yeah, and Sheffield has.
They would never have forgotten.
They have not
forgotten.
Of course, yeah.
They have never forgiven him since.
Did they
still
come
bitter
out
about it?
Did they come out with some good signs, like maybe fielding the right players, or did they?
I wish they had some banners like that.
Yeah.
But they definitely stuck it to West Ham in this one. Were they home or away?
They're away.
They're away from home.
Sheffield were away.
And they kept them to a 1-1.
No, they're very impressive.
I do like.
I like Sheffield.
I like the way they defend. It's not the parking the bus kind of defense. It's a full defense. They both position themselves well and also press in the right areas.
But they look to score as well.
They
still
suffocate.
look to score.
They have zero quality up front.
That's the thing.
Let's get that out of the way.
Well, they're like McCall said, they're just a promoted side. So
Yes, but I mean, like even for a promoted side, they have like very little. But
which makes it more impressive.
Limited quality up front, but they're still looking to score.
Yes, and they're
so
aggressive.
they're not just that park the bus.
They're looking
defense.
to nip.
They're actually enjoyable.
Yeah, they're
to
looking
watch.
to nip it back, and they're basically, even with the zero quality up front, they're putting a chokehold on teams. They're just giving them nothing, and then pushing them high up the pitch at the right moments, and then when they if they stuff up,
They're making the opposition think about them, like
Exactly.
in terms of like they can still score, even though they've scored 10 goals or whatever it is, or 9 goals. So.
and they came back from two goals down against Chelsea. They almost held off Liverpool as well. They've had some really good performances.
So, yep, no, they've been impressive.
And
Very impressive.
And at first we hadn't watched them play, and we just said, yeah, they're going to get relegated. We've since changed our minds. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Look, it's still early, but things can obviously change.
I'm quite set on Sheffield surviving.
The way they're going, they're very impressive.
Yeah, they're definitely not on my list at this point. There needs to be some serious bad things happen going there. But the last game worth mentioning was meant to be the biggest game of the season because we didn't know about Leicester doing their thing at Southampton.
Liverpool and Tottenham.
Yeah, well, Liverpool and Tottenham. That was an interesting game because Tottenham had been on a horror run this season. They're sitting in 12?
It's just not been good. It's not been
They're
good.
below Manchester United now.
With all the drama.
They're in 11th.
Yes, 11th.
Yep.
And they've been they've had some tough fixtures, but they're looking like they're turning it around because midweek they played against
I think it was Red Star.
Red Star.
Yeah.
It was at home.
Yeah, it was at home.
Yeah, 5-0 shellacking. It was complete contrast to the Watford game the week before where they drew and they barely got away with the draw. They were lucky to draw.
Well, at least they're not descending in a linear fashion. Like
Yes.
it's a bit of a
It is
a bit of a wavy sort of thing.
But after that Watford game, I thought, all right, Tottenham's still terrible. This is good. Liverpool get to play terrible Tottenham. This is great. Then they pull off that performance. A completely different team midweek. And I'm not talking about the people on the pitch. I'm just saying the way they played was just... You would not be able to tell that those two teams were the same club. Yeah. And I thought, oh no, game on this week. And
it turned out to be so.
It was game on. And when I started watching that game, I watched it delayed. Goal in the first 30 seconds for Tottenham. I thought, crap. Like that was bad. I mean, that is the worst stuff. But the way Liverpool responded,
the big man scored as well. Harry Kane,
Harry Kane.
We don't want to get him going early.
Fortuitous sort of knock off the crossbar, but the way Liverpool responded in that game was actually quite. I know they're at home, but that was.
Oh look, they responded like champions. Let's be real. That's title winning form.
That was
performance. Yeah.
And Tottenham did have a chance to make it 2-0. I don't know if you've seen the highlights, Abdul.
I have seen the highlights. Yeah, absolutely.
Tottenham had a chance to make it 2-0.
The Korean boy, Sung Min Man.
He's my favourite player.
He could have scored.
Absolutely, should have.
I wouldn't say he should have, but
open goal, man.
It was not an open goal.
Open goal.
The defender was on the line. It was a tight angle, and he was.
I think the one that really it wasn't. Look, it was a tight angle. Though. That's the only.
And he was running away from goal, and it was on his wrong foot.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So
a lot of things working against him.
Yeah. So he did quite well to do it, he did have to go. Some people were saying, why didn't he just hit it along the ground? I think that Lovren would have come back.
Oh,
and I think he was there.
He should. He did the right thing from lifting that up.
Yeah, to lift it up, but he just lifted it too much, hit the crossbar, and the rest is history. Liverpool go on. A few minutes later, score a goal and get a late penalty, which was a clear penalty as well. But it's not like they were the only two chances they had. They had maybe they could have had 5 or 6 goals.
Very good team, Liverpool.
And and they kept their 6-point gap above Manchester City, even though it looked like it was going to slip.
Yeah, well, City had smalls, and then they went
they did.
after,
but then it's like, hi. they didn't fall to the same fate as City did to Tottenham earlier in the season, which was a draw.
That's another win for Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the title race is still there.
Oh, it's still on.
But Leicester and Chelsea keeping pace. It's incredible.
Oh, with City.
Yeah.
Not with
2 points behind.
Not with Liverpool.
Well, they're 2 points. Well, look, we talk about Liverpool and City.
So you're actually giving some thing here that Leicester could win the league.
All right, this is how it is, right? This is just the reality of the situation, right? We talk about Liverpool and City as they're the only ones that could win the league, right?
Well, we all are, yeah.
All right. But yet, after all that, Leicester and Chelsea are only 2 points behind City.
Yeah.
So, at this stage, they're technically, within each other. But we all know both Liverpool and Manchester City can go on, a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah,
Leicester and Chelsea will not do that. They will drop points at some point.
And that's the difference, obviously.
But this Leicester side does look really like.
They look good. Don't you worry about that.
Because they've got a good defence, and now they've shown that they've got a capable attack.
Oh yeah.
So it will be interesting, and they do play
Things are
against
starting to click.
Manchester City soon. I think they play against Chelsea soon as well. I think they play each other next week, Chelsea and Leicester.
No,
Could be
Chelsea
wrong.
play Watford.
Sorry, Chelsea play Watford. It might be the week after that or something.
No,
But it's
no. Leicester have Arsenal in 2 weeks, and Liverpool have City in 2 weeks. Well,
Yeah.
that's
that's a big one.
yeah.
But I may be thinking a bit further down in December, Christmas time or something like that. The Manchester City play Leicester. In fact, that is Manchester City play Leicester when Liverpool are at the Club World Cup. So that's in December. That's still a while away. But there's no real movement there.
No.
But that's it
For the Premier League.
for the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I did before we sort of get to the end. I mean, do we really want to talk about the situation in Italy, because it hasn't really changed?
Nothing's really changed there, no.
Although Juventus slipped up,
They did. They drew.
They drew, but then
and Inter joined in.
drew as well
So
last
they
week. So
thought, hey, that looks like fun.
no chance.
We'll join you. Yeah, we'll get another draw.
No real change. It's the top
Although it
four's
was
the same.
contrasting, because Juventus had the lead and then they conceded the equaliser, whereas Inter actually came back from behind to draw. So, in a way, contrasting sort of efforts there. And Juventus, Cos, do you know the story behind Ronaldo not playing in that game?
No, just a rest. No problems.
See, this is the difference between the Premier League and other leagues. Teams in other leagues rest players. Like in the Premier League, at best, you can put him on the bench, if he's injured, Whereas in other leagues, teams just go, nah, he doesn't need to come at all. Just
rest him.
stay home, watch Netflix, whatever. Don't even watch the game. Just do your thing, whatever.
Well, they didn't win that game, so he probably should have played. But anyway,
exactly. Dybala tried his best, scored his penalty, but wasn't enough. Then they drew 1-1. But there's really But Atalanta though, they did Leicester.
they score for fun, don't they?
They did a Leicester. They played against
Udinese. They won 7-1 win. It was a nice win.
It was the same deal, wasn't it? Early red card.
Yes, it was.
Early red card, and
It was 1-1 when they got the red.
And then
they just
pulled away.
Copped 6 goals straight. Yeah.
And Abdul says there's no goals in the Italian league. I think
There's very far in between, okay?
very far in between.
Very far in between. There's no... And Cos will agree. This is a very rare occasion. Some would call it...
Would he agree? I feel like he wouldn't. Not this season.
In regards to what Abdul?
In regards to... I'm sorry, you guys are not in the league, not offensive-minded. Neither do you guys score as much. It's it's not as fun to watch.
Oh no, it is fun to watch.
So
I think
unless you're a football
I think the broadcast
fundamentalist
is not as good.
Sorry?
The thing is, the broadcasts are not as good,
Okay.
and the stadiums aren't packed out.
That's just a myth
Well,
busting.
there's a reason why the stadium's not packed out. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
So
I can tell you why.
And why is that? By the
Because they're at home having pubs,
way? I see.
and I'm not even kidding. They don't have the bar, the pub culture.
Okay.
Italy. Because the English, they're there before they go to the pub. And
That's true.
The Italians don't do that. They're watching on TV.
They either go
Most of them prefer to watch on TV.
on TV.
3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
Have their
No,
lunch.
because lunch is at 12, right? They eat big, and then they have a nap, and then they wake up.
And they wake up
and then they watch the game.
All right, so this is just a myth busting with Abdul. The only team to not score this week in Italy was Hellas Verona. Everyone else got some goals. 0-1. Lecce, Juventus was a 1-1, obviously. Inter against Parma, 2-2. Genoa, Brescia, 3-1. Bologna, 2. Sampdoria, 1. Atalanta, 7. Udinese, 1. Couple of 1-1 draws from Spal, Napoli, who just can't get a break. Torino and Cagliari. And then Roma beating Milan, 2-1. And Fiorentina losing to Lazio, 2-1.
Well, I'll end this by saying that at the end of the day, that's a good week. We'll see what the next 4 weeks.
Last
holds for
week,
us.
No, last week there were 2-0-0s.
there were 2-0-0s.
Yeah.
But the other games had a lot of goals. There was a 3-3, there was a 4-3, there was a 5-1, 2-2.
I'm still not convinced. We'll see how the season goes.
I love how.
But anyway,
Abdul
Inter's
is
top of
just-
the ladder, so there you go.
That's
is
right.
just screaming denial in the face of all these goals. And
Early
Milan.
days. Early days.
Nainggolan. Oh, you've seen
Early days.
You've seen Nainggolan's goal.
Well,
Quality.
yes,
Quality.
fantastic.
Absolute quality.
Early days.
Early day. You'll never see a goal like that again. I can't look at a single week here in the Italian league where
But anyway.
there's a hatful of goals. So
Well,
Nothing's really changed. The top remains the same. Inter's on top at the moment, but we're in the middle of a match day.
everyone
so,
drew. So yeah. So Italy at the moment are having a midweek match day. Spain are also having a midweek match day. Of course, we don't care about Spain. Germany, I don't think are having a midweek.
no, they've got their cup.
They got their cup.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
week,
the Pokal. Yeah, that's true. But that's just the normal cup, isn't
That's
it?
a normal cup.
Not the League Cup that the English have.
Yeah.
Abdul, how much do you know about the League Cup? Do you know the difference between the League Cup and the FA Cup?
I know that the
Your facial expression says no.
no, that's my facial expression all the time.
Right. He's thinking.
Confused. I know one league. I don't know which one is which, but I know that one of them is like pretty much everyone sort of gets involved from
Yes.
all leagues. Like so
That's
not all
right.
leagues, but
That's
divisions.
right. The
That-
FA Cup
That's
is,
the FA Cup.
is every single team in the English system.
Yes.
Like even the Sunday League teams.
Really?
They all play.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like
from
so,
going right to the grassroots level, every team plays.
every team plays.
And
They
that's
have
what I
the
love.
chance.
And
But except obviously it gets filtered because the weaker teams sort of
quickly
knock each other off.
No, that's fair.
Quite
That's
early.
I think I think that's for me the most exciting one, and it's sort of a not a knockout, but sort of close to a knockout.
No, it is knockout. It's completely
Yeah.
knockout.
So
And
what I love
it's-
that.
it's
That's
one
what I
round.
love that.
And the Premier League teams don't join in until February. Oh, sorry, January. So that's going on this whole time. Like all these teams are playing. Whereas the League Cup is only the league team. So that's from Premier League
To the League Two.
to League Two, which is
Yeah.
4 divisions of football. I think there's 92 teams in that mix. We're now in the round of 16, I believe. And there's 2 juicy matchups tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea, Manchester United. And wait, there was a juicy matchup this morning as well. Manchester City against Southampton. Everyone was just looking at that with. The worst part about that is that so Manchester City, obviously Southampton just got pummeled. Then they play Manchester City here in this League Cup. Then on the weekend they play them again.
In the league, yeah.
Wow.
But both away from home, as we've established. They're better away from home. So
That's right. We'll see how it all pans out.
well, they lost the first one 3-1, but after being 3-0 down at half time. So sorry, 2-0 at half time.
Oxford United are in the quarterfinals. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Getting
Well,
Colchester.
That's what I love
Little
about.
teams are in.
That's what I love
Yeah.
about it. The little teams have the chance, and they usually
Colchester
do well
United.
in those sort of
Yeah.
league cups.
Well,
Sorry, in
it's
these
the teams with momentum. You know?
FA Cup, yeah.
They have momentum. They got absolutely. Usually, those teams have zero league form whatsoever. They put everything. This is like their Champions League, you know. And they come in, they play against the big boys, and then they have their shot. They don't even care if they go through. They just if they play at Wembley, that's making the semi-final. They're happy. They play against the big team and lose. They're happy. They played it. You know, they went out to the things. They're just having a good time. Fans just love it. It's good. It's good. But yeah, the League Cup it is a bit congested though. So there's that
Well, that's a conversation, a different conversation again.
yeah, which is why the English.
It's one of those recycled. They keep talking about it every year, but nothing will get done. So.
But they did get a January break at some point, so at least again
But
that.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's not
There's too many fixtures.
Way too many fish.
Yeah.
But this is part of the reason that the English league is sort of like behind all the other leagues in their in let's just call it fatigue control. They have none. No, it's just any opportunity they have to wear down the players, they take it with both hands. They just say it's like here's an opportunity for our players to just grind their muscles to the point where they're just peeling off the bones. You know, it's
Well, your risk of injury just increases, but that's all right.
yeah, that's fine. No, we've got to get the entertainment. How can you have Christmas without football?
Oh,
How can
it's
you have
impossible.
Christmas without football? You've got to have Christmas.
Football is more important than family.
Yeah, and the siesta and the lunch.
Hey, I don't listen. If
No,
they're playing
don't
Christmas,
diss the siesta. The siesta is very important.
it's very important. I agree with that. 100%.
We should have it here in Australia.
I agree.
Siesta.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, agreed.
I want to sleep during the day.
I agree with that too.
I only laugh because it will never happen, and I wish it did. I wish it did. But unless anybody else has objections here, or there's something that somebody wants to speak about, I think that could be a wrap. Happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Abdul's got an early start tomorrow, so we don't want him
Crazy
to get
early starter.
we don't want him to have gotten well and then got sick again. So
based on no sleep, yeah.
exactly, sleep is where all the sickness comes through.
But if we had a siesta, this wouldn't be a problem,
Oh,
yeah, this
absolutely.
wouldn't be a problem.
right?
Well, you can have one because I'm sure you're not going to finish later than 3.
That's right.
So you definitely got a chance.
Oh no, I definitely will make use of it.
Yeah, you're going to have that siesta, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cos, you having a siesta?
Catch up with some
No.
games. Catch up with
Absolutely
some Premier League games and
Yeah.
and catch up with some football.
Absolutely not. No siestas for me.
Yeah,
I'm just busy.
yeah,
Anyway, that's good. No, we'll talk about that.
yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Abdul, for coming down.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Cole.
Yep.
Thank me
Yeah.
for being me, because we're thanking everyone. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast if you enjoyed them. Spread them around, spread the love, let everybody know about it. Only if you enjoyed it though. If you didn't like it, show them one that you did. And yeah, thank you once again, and we'll speak to you again next week.
Yeah, see you later. Yeah.
See ya.